and welcome to Straightforward. Today I am visiting with my awesome mentor and friend, the one and only Senator from the 15th Senatorial District, Ed Harbison. I don't want to just say Ed Harbison because I must give honor where honor is due. Senator, you have, of course, had a great career, but I always want to tell the story since you taught me everything I know about radio and TV. And when you learn from the best, you have to brag. I have no shame with that. But I just wanted, because we are celebrating Black Music Month, the month of June. And then last year at the Capitol, you honored radio broadcasters from all over the state. And then this year, after the committee got together, we just decided that we should focus more in the 15th Senatorial District, which is where you had a wonderful broadcasting career, started with TV, radio. I mean, you've done it. Plus, you worked in other markets. But share with our audience how you started in the TV industry, because you were the first at NBC.
Yeah, 38.
38.
Actually,
African American.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, it was a very, I thank you, first of all, Gloria Strode, for allowing me. You and your husband always have done that for me, and I certainly appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate your professionalism, that you've taken this and taken it to new heights, and you're very successful with it. I just want to commend you for that.
Well, thank you.
Job.
When you learn from the best, you try not to disappoint. You're a mentor. And of course, you allowed me to learn at your expense. I tell people, on your dime. For 10 years, I've sat at your feet. I consider it an honor to be there. And just the way that you went about it, it was like a sewing machine. So it's like, if you can't learn after 10 years, you don't need to even try this. But certainly, you made it very easy. And you were willing to take that risk.
It's a decade, a whole decade.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long.
10 years, yes.
We had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good team. We never champagne on the radio.
I really think about it right now, but you got, it's in good hands. So, but you asked me, I really started in television, was your specific question, when the WOKS management team, it was OKS and Foxy on the Woodford at that time.
Okay, that's on the radio.
That's on the radio.
So when you went to NBC 38,
that's right.
That's TV broadcast.
That's TV. They allowed me to go and be, I was still in the radio there, but they agreed to allow WLTZ 38 to use me as the TV anchor.
Really?
So that is
so you
happened.
worked a dual career. See, as long as I've been with you all these years, I didn't know that you did them both at the same time. Because we always have that historic picture of you at WLTZ with that afro.
Yes.
The legendary afro. Yes. So.
Well, and I just want the public to thank him for that. And I born in black. I asked them to allow me to do that, and I would do a day at WKS Fox 105 Covering News doing this and that, and walk in over at Channel 38, sit in the chair, and do the evening news, which is all, I mean, read cold scripts.
Wow.
but sometimes it could.
But you went to broadcasting school, so
I
you had been trained. It wasn't like me, who was actually a social worker in my other life, when I was trying to be like you.
Yeah,
but you actually have been professionally trained.
That's right, that's right.
And so you could just go in and just read.
And look, you really should do that, but it was something you have to learn to do. And really, I went to broadcast school in Atlanta for that as well. But the fun thing about it, that was a teleprompter that would, like on a mail like that, it would go around. It was, each sheet was separate, and sometimes the sheet would get stuck or.
So it's not like the new technology.
Oh no, not the. You looking at it, you're just reading it, looking down and reading.
So then you had to be a good ad-lib.
Oh, you better,
just take the concept and be able to roll
and
with
had the look on your face when nothing is there. But it was a great experience for me. I thank Born Black and the team over at Channel 38. Walton was there. I think he was the station manager at the time. A great guy, great team over there. Born Black, just a lot of people. Amadeo. Jim Kroger, and Ann Fidel was my co-anchor. I think she went to Texas. Blonde lady.
Yeah, and that's the thing about that industry. People will start one place, and the next thing you know, they're gone somewhere else, and you'll be in another city.
That's right.
And then you'll see them come on the news. I actually had that happen.
That's right.
I was in Jacksonville, and I saw someone that had been formerly on WTVM, and I was like, what? And so there he was, Chauncey Glover.
That's right.
And of course, he's somewhere else now. But they move around a lot.
They do.
Right.
If you want to go up at Mobile, you got to do that.
You got to leave.
You got to do that.
You got to do
so,
that.
That was my experience. And I would go out and cover the news just like I did every day at WOKS, Fox 105. Had an assignment, had news people working for me, and at around about 5:20 to be there at 6 o'clock for the news. I would drive out Channel 38 and do the news.
Really?
And I did that for, I believe, about 2 years.
So between those two, the radio station, which is a little different. Well, yeah, because you can do more of your personality on radio, but then when you're before the camera and news, it's serious. Well, these days it's a little different, but back traditionally in your time, and of course Walter Cronkite, when we had a lot of credible people in the business, you really had high standards.
I had really, really great people. I respected them. And at one time, I was so honored because at that time we had a press club in Columbus, Georgia.
Really?
Really great, which I think we miss right now.
Right.
The media press club, blah, blah, blah. It was really, I'm trying to think some of the, Richard Hyde was among it.
Yes.
Matt, anyway, there were a lot of guys, professional guys, newspaper guys, radio guys, TV guys, Ed Wilson, people like that.
So see, that's my first time. Every time I sit with you, Senator, I learn something. I never knew we had a press club.
We had a press club.
And of course, you know, Richard is a friend of ours in this show, and he and I actually did a trip to the Pulaski State Prison for Women, and we interviewed the warden there, who was a female. So, I mean, he has had a long legacy in print newspapers, and covered a lot of presidents, a lot of politicians, and had great stories.
Written books on President Carter.
And all of that. So I wish we did have something like that now, because I think that way we get to learn who else is in the business and what people are doing, and then it kind of helps you to kind of know where your niche is.
That's right. That's right.
So I learn something every time. But what we're going to do now, go to our first break to our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors.
Straightforward is brought to you by State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front lines for veterans every day. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. The Columbus Memory Center, 7196 North Lake Drive, Suite A, Columbus. Dr. Jonathan Liss is a board-certified neurologist and sleep specialist committed to battling Alzheimer's by preserving independence, offering you the opportunity to get your memory number for free, the only vital sign for brain health. Call today at 706-327-4000 or visit columbusmemorycenter.com.
Welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this very, very wonderful visit with my friend and mentor, our Senator, State Senator Ed Harbison from the 15th Senatorial District of Georgia. So, Senator, last year we had our first Black Music Month celebration. The programs were just simply wonderful, great souvenirs. As you can see, I saved mine and Tyler's. No, really, I mean, just with all of the legends from all over the state, from various generations, and it was held at the Capitol, of course, and you had some great people on the program. You had one of your legislative colleagues.
Yes, we did. We had two of them, as a matter of fact, I believe, but it was come back this year, and I'm trying to think. whether she wanted to be in this one, but she
come and visit
yes,
as
right,
a guest.
right.
Yeah, and you had good support is what I'm saying, in Atlanta.
Yes.
But we just
Governor,
thought
Lieutenant
in the
Governor,
committee,
right.
we should do it in the 15th Senatorial.
Yeah.
It's not tonight, we didn't want to honor the people over in Augusta, Savannah, because you covered the entire state,
right.
Atlanta. We just needed to focus on some of the people at home.
As a start.
For this time. And if we didn't get them this time, we'll get them the next time.
Well said.
And last year, in the inaugural Black Music Month celebration, we had people that had like 50 years or more.
That's right.
And so we had to have benchmarks.
That's right.
And that's what I've been telling people.
That's right.
And so the criteria this year is we had to go 25 and higher.
Right.
Because, you know, in this industry, I mean, there's a lot of stations all over and people come and go. And we wanted to make sure that we could do something that would be a nice event. Of course, these things are not free, and we thank you for your sacrifice. Because I did explain to someone, this is not a part of your legislative responsibility. This is something that you just wanted to do as an extra thing for the community, to celebrate the folks that, you know, help make the community what it is. And so this year, we're going to host it here in Columbus.
And I just want to be clear about it. It's just a start. And I want to make sure that we're going to try to get everybody eventually.
Exactly.
This is just the second one.
Right.
We want to, look, these people bring joy. They bring entertainment. They have great stories to tell of themselves.
Right.
They are a legacy within their own own right. And I want to honor them. A lot of people do good things for the community, and they're not mentioned. But eventually, we're going to get anybody. We're not a divisive organization.
No, we're not.
We're inclusive. We're going to try to include everybody that we think fit in that category for that particular edition.
Exactly.
So I think eventually, prayerfully, we get them all. It's amazing to me that you get these people who are just born, it looks like, to do this entertainment and make other people uplifted as they drive to work, as they sit in their homes, and as they are entertained.
Because commutes are very long now in some communities. And if you're in the car, you develop relationships with those radio personalities. Because at one point at Clear Channel, which is now iHeart, you had a 2-hour call-in show.
Yes.
And people would be in the car, and they would call, and we would have great conversations about everything.
That's right.
Family, politics, you know, health, you know, all kinds of things. So, but yes, this is all inclusive. But again, it's just like with the Olympics. You can't do everybody. It's just like the Oscars. We can't do everybody at one time unless we have some Jay-Z or some billionaire show up and just give us their Black American Express.
Give us a lot of money.
And just say, roll with it, you know. And we want to do it, and we want to do it quality, and we want to do it right.
And have it mean something, and I'm just honored to do it. And it occurred to me, I was honored to be inducted to the Georgia Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. That was a great honor for me, something I didn't seek. It wasn't, you know, something that I expected, but it was honored that bestowed upon me, and I appreciated it.
But you were worthy. You were worthy because you had a very long career. You were also at Magic. You and Edgar hosted a very good community show with Jim Weatherington, who was our police chief. People could call in and they had concerns and get their questions answered. And so you have always been that, whether you were our elected official on the school board or as our state senator, but even as a radio personality, you were always approachable. People felt that you were the guy they could talk to. And I think that means something. Yes, but that means something, you know. And even with our homeless veterans, you know, you see them when you go to the post office, you're never too busy, you know, to talk to them. And that's a part of what you do when you're legislating. But this is just something you wanted to do. And I had to, you know, share that with someone that called me. I said, this is not a part of what is required. This is something he thought would be good for the folks in that industry.
And I pray it is. I pray it is. And I really think what you're doing here, amplifying it and making sure that they know about it. We're going to have it here in Columbus coming up next month.
Right.
And we ought to be able to express some appreciation to those people who dedicate themselves to broadcasting. And it's a changing industry now.
Yes, it
you know?
is.
I mean,
I remember you were saying y'all used to have reel to reel.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then now
Oh, you
everything.
don't know what a reel to reel?
Well,
oh, wow.
yeah. So now it's like everything is on the computer.
Digital.
Right,
Everything
right,
is digital,
right. So when we would be in the studio with Edgar, you know, I was remembering some of the stories that you all were telling about, you know, back in the day, where you just had to get there and get everything set up, and then now it's just hit the right buttons.
And listen, you had cart machines that had commercials in them. You had cart machines with your news on it. You had to physically splice tape with a razor blade and splice it. It always had that little sound. And if you could, because there's no way you could go from one segue to the other and with a physical splice and do that. It's just hard to do. Now electronically, I've seen Edgar Champagne as an example do it, and it's just nothing to say. It's
I mean, it's seamless.
Seamless.
Yeah,
it's
but back
seamless,
then you had to have a little technical skill.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And he was telling me, "Hey, you can learn it. You got no big." I said, "I don't know about that." but it's great progress. Davis Broadcasting, Greg Davis. I just wanted to make sure express my openly appreciation to him, Maria Boynton, and some other people.
Right, and Maria Boynton actually worked for you.
Yes, she did. I hired her.
Yes.
I hired 4 or 5 young ladies. Marcia Shipley.
Right.
She married Eric Ludgood from Channel 9.
Right.
He's a big-time broadcaster in Axio, something like that, in Atlanta or nationally now.
Okay.
So,
and Maria does great. I mean, she gets all of the dignitaries and the celebrities in Atlanta.
She does.
But she is quick to say that she started with Ed Harbison, and you deserve that honor in that respect. Well, what we're going to do now, Senator, go to our final break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors.
Apple Tax Services for the best in tax preparation. 7413 Whitesville Road, Columbus. Call for your appointment today at 706-243-2590 or 706-243-2595. And remember, an apple a day keeps the audits away. The law offices of Siobhan S. Thomas and Associates, 201 9th Street in Uptown Columbus, 706-350-7232. A veteran-owned law firm dedicated to equal rights and justice for all. Make Siobhan S. Thomas and Associates your first choice for legal services. Visit SiobhanThomas.com. The Miley Agency, 4903 Armour Road. Gerald L. Miley and William Ripsinger have been providing comprehensive reviews and insuring families in Georgia and Alabama for more than 50 years. The Miley Agency will work non-stop to find you the best policy at the best price. You can rest assured that your information is secure, confidential, and protected. Call today at 706-996-2045.
Welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this very important conversation about Black Music Month with State Senator Ed Harbison. Senator, so we're going to be making sure, I know that Cindy from your office sent letters to those that we will be honoring, and what we have asked is that they RSVP to let her know that they will be available. I know folks in the summer, June is a big vacation month, and parents have gotten the kids out of high school and college, and everybody wants to go on vacation. But those that are going to be honored, we want to make sure that they save the date, put it on their calendar, and we're just expecting to celebrate them here in Columbus.
Yeah, and we're talking about music too, but we can't overlook the broadcasters, and I'm just really amazed that I can remember songs before I can remember some people's names.
That's true.
and it's in the culture.
Right.
You know the disc jockeys of that era. I know the disc Jack the Bellboy, the Baron, Hound Dog.
Right.
It's just
Raggedy Flag.
Raggedy Flag.
Right. Now you were telling me a story one day.
Ball, and all that
Right.
stuff.
The one you said he would be walking. I said, who is the guy that always walks? Right. And you said he would stick his head in the car. And if you didn't have air conditioning, he would say, that's okay, I might as well walk.
Man, I can walk and sweat. That's the hound dog, baby. Don't pick the hound up, I can walk and sweat. He was a true character. And it was era of people like
Smitty Whitty.
Smitty Whitty, Al Smith, very
Yes.
famous music director at OKS Fox 105 for years.
Yes.
Now I didn't work with the Deuce, but I knew of him.
Him, right? Because he was there
His
when I was a
son.
little girl. But you did know his son.
His son, he and I would do national news cuts with his National Black Network, which was a National Black Network and the Mutual Black Network nationally at that time. And you would get stringer money from that, $10 or $15 or something.
Oh, okay, stringer money. See, I learned something from you every time I sit down. Stringer money.
Yeah,
the Black News
they
Network.
accept it, use it on the air. It happens now.
Okay.
And but it's not $10.
I can assure you of that too. Yes.
It was a wonderful experience. You had wonderful people here. I may be wrong about it, but it looked like to me it was more togetherness.
It was more like a family,
it was
village
a big family.
of
And now you got so many. Well, we got more choices in radio and less togetherness.
And then a lot of people are trying to make a name. Of course, we always have.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, but everybody can't be Tom Jordan, but you can be who you can be in your market. Everybody can't be Steve Harvey, but you can be who you can be in your market.
That's right.
And then we just have to do our best with our gifts and talents and resources.
That's right.
Because it takes money to do all of it where you are.
Yeah, so much competition.
It is very much so.
You got these podcasts.
Yes.
You got you could be on radio, television, on the internet now. So as a consequence, you
because they have internet radio.
Everything, and that's coming. I'm wondering how that's going to play out. And I just read recently where there was a digital station that shut down after 12 years. And I said, wow, what is that about?
Well, it's a lot of digital companies are shutting down.
Competition, right?
Yeah, and then of course at a certain age group, I have to say this, share this with somebody. Those folks are not on a computer nonstop, because they do other things. They're gardening, and they're doing other activities. Now, when you have your cord cutters, your young folks, that don't even use TV, they do everything digital. That's a different generation. But if you're trying to reach people, you got to go where you can reach the masses.
You do.
Well, there's one story with your radio life. I have to have you tell it every time. With you and Edgar and Joe, the entertainer Joe.
Edgar never lets me forget it.
Yeah.
And when Joe came back, the entertainer, we shook hands. We laughed about it.
Right, and this is when the talent show.
Yeah, we were doing talent show.
And that was really big then, right? And then you also shared where you actually had Michael Jackson and other folks on the reel to reel, and we don't have those. See, we could be rich if we had those.
I think I've introduced Chaka Khan, Michael Jackson. I just can't remember who I didn't. I remember a funny story. Al Smith and I were talking one time. They had brought this show to town, Johnny Taylor, who's making love of fame. And then he had a certain, they have these writers about what they want in their contract. He wanted his money cash. And he arrived at the City Auditorium walking. He left walking to catch the bus back to Atlanta.
Really?
With $10,000.
Not in these days. My goodness, did he really?
Wow, man. It was just
He really did.
He wanted this and that, somewhat sandwiches, various things.
Yeah, certain toilet paper and things like that, So, but those things that we're in a different time, of course, I know the stars do that now, but back in the day, you all had limited resources, especially prior to, we got over into the late 60s, early 70s, you all didn't have, a lot of places where you could go and take the people and entertain.
That's right.
But you all did a good job.
We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. The family there, the Baron, I came in as news director, and I almost lost my job because they thought I was a white guy. Why do you have that white guy? I'm being honest.
I do know that because you speak very well, and you definitely have a radio and a telephone voice.
But it was funny because the Baron, he was the news director. He said, man, they called and said, why did y'all have that guy? But I said, no, tell them that. We go out in public. But it was a fun time, interesting time, and it was kind of like the black power. After that, it was kind of like togetherness.
And the pride.
Black pride, that's what I'm looking for. Black pride kind of era, the bell bottoms and the big afro.
Yeah, you had an afro.
But mine had a flat.
That legendary picture at NBC 38 with you behind the news desk.
Yeah.
But certainly, we want to thank you for having the foresight to honor the radio broadcasters.
Sure.
A lot of times they are unsung. People don't give them credit. And we want to make sure that the community knows this year, we will host it here in the 15th Senatorial District. And for the people who didn't meet the 25 years or higher, we will get them the next time.
We'll get to it.
Right, because this is just the second one. There will be more to come. And we want to honor everyone, but just like with the Oscars, the Emmys, we can't do everybody at the same time. So I just want to thank you for all that you do for the community. Do you have any parting words?
No, just thank you for what you do every day and keep loving each other. I mean, it's the worst thing in the world to see some divisiveness, but stay engaged. There's nothing wrong with being aggressive and concerned and poised to offer your energy to any movement that's worthwhile, and it's centered in love. There's nothing wrong with love.
Centered in love, and then the power of the microphone is very powerful,
right.
And we want to make sure we are doing the right thing and we're good stewards.
Right.
All right.
Thank all the people out there on the air.
All right, we appreciate it. All right, this has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.
What up, world? What's up, Columbus? Be sure to tune in every Sunday, Straightforward with Gloria Strode, right here on NBC 38.